I started this film in 1999, actually much earlier, around 95, as soon as I had a shooting camera, but the story really started in 1999. People often ask me, why? You have already done Dirty Handz 1, Dirty Handz 2, why a third episode? I really don't know why. There is no reason, I just like doing these things. It is true that, according to the present situation, I'd better avoid to do such things, but the idea of leaving these subjects in the hand of TV journalists drives me mad. In fact, this feeling is surely one of the reasons why I was driven to make this film. It is while seeing reports about graffiti on TV that I have understood that were simply authorities' requests aiming at driving masses and manipulating opinions. Media as a state tool, TV as propaganda of the world's big ones, and video as a dissident voice to mainstream ideas. It is in such a context that I wanted to do this film, so as to bring an original and autonomous testimony, letting people free to have their own opinion.
The Philadelphia 76ers, Maurice Cheeks, quiet, knows they're going to be the one game, folks.
This is Mighty Ma, and I'm Eon. Now it's tough walk-ons and the whack talk's gone. EC on record is fucking awesome. Dissect playbooks, my D is in a rage. Hi, Ma. With this first law to be raw at all costs. Since 1984, we've been a lost cause. High and mighty rulers,
I'm French and I live in Paris. I don't remember how I came to start doing graffiti. Probably at school, around 88, when I was 12. At that time, everybody did tags in the classroom. It was up to date and fashion. Let's say I really started practicing in 1994. With some mates, I quickly joined a very active group, the SDK.
The little nugs getting plucked like a violin. I'm not getting high again.
Our favorite places were the suburban RER A and Saint-Lazare station. Our whole work would concentrate on two lines. The ideal day was to start with line A at dawn, take pictures around 8 AM, go for a little nap, do a metro at noon, take pictures at peak time in the afternoon, have a break, can smoke joints the rest of the day, then prepare sprays for the night action at Saint-Lazare station.
And he was the boy called James. And it will all end up years old and now like the New York scene. Too much drugs and too much prison, too much songs. Suicide commando, suicide. Suicide commando, suicide.
is at the Saint-Lazare train station where we painted the most. This line is so big that you really have a lot of space to enjoy yourself. Taxons for ups here, panels over there, wall cars. It was perfect. Overall, the security there was really lazy and not organized. We knew the plan so well that I remembered us only running once or twice.
Warm, leatherette. Warm, leatherette. Warm, leatherette. Warm, leatherette. See the breaking glass in the underpass. See the breaking glass in the underpass. Warm, leatherette. Warm, leatherette. Warm, leatherette. Warm, leatherette. Hear the crushing steel, feel the steering wheel. Hear the crushing steel, feel the steering wheel. Warm, leatherette. 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 Warm leatherette. Melt on your burning flesh. You can see your reflection in the luminescent dash. Warm, leatherette.
We did subways as well during the day. It was different, really exciting. To paint a subway, it's like becoming a rat for an hour. Intrusions, climbing, one way in, one way out, fucking smell, dirty places. All these things made the subway very attractive and strange. It was like a mission to go there, like a video game, except it was fucking real.
From the sign and all grown up rhyming. Still talking to my finger, but now it's too big to stomach lining.
I'll be the smart ambassador. Bend her over, point the ass back at her. Then I'll fucking laugh.
Picture me giving a fuck. That's Polaroid cost severing. Or Hot 97 with a yes man brethren.
Starbucks truck, keep staying with feces. The only man who make roaches an endangered species.
I'm smacking DJs for playing the instrumentals for the whack mentals. Spitting all over the mic rentals. Bring all your doors. My name is Cage Kennels. Not abuse packs like that, on too much catastrophe.
At age 12, I spit my first rap out. In the 80s on your block like the first crack house. It's Eon cold-hearted, smoke a whole carton. Decapitate my best friend if he's both-hearted. Quick to be like
Paddling smart.
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 What kind of shit are you peddling?
Corn. It's not peddling.
What kind of shit are you peddling?
Corn. It's not peddlers.
What kind of shit are you peddling?
Corn. It's not peddlers.
What kind of shit are you peddling?
Corn. It's not peddlers again.
You want to talk about this old school bullshit about the rules? Well, here's a rule you might remember. I'm the motherfucking one who calls the shots.
Let my orange instincts. I got a dog named Kubrick. It's obvious I like his flicks. Filming them with human chicks. If that's a sin, let him poke this white bitch Kim for coke. Outside of a bar until I switched in. Breaking the end like Luke Tim's in a robbery. Take a culture on my spits culture and spawn a colony. Smell like Teen Spirit, grab a shotgun and feed us. My LP Street date shaking up Columbine hot cheerleaders. Dipping in two-seaters, they ain't mine. So many slip y'all sweater combinations, I paint rhyme. Blew my EC Advance on a PC and Grand. DC and PS2 games grow lights and plants. Crops done by the time the cops come. Carjack this pregnant Indian for a dark son. Blaze a building to catch a rap magazine. You wanna talk shit and not get fucked up? That's a faggot stream.
With the looters, solicitors, unwanted visitors, nickelback misdemeanors, bottom feeders, moochers, bleeders, breeders, and sleepers. With the looters, solicitors, unwanted visitors, nickelback misdemeanors, bottom feeders, moochers, bleeders, breeders, and sleepers.
After 5 years of good job, I thought Paris was great, but I started to get bored of my Parisian world. I had that big map of Europe in my loo and I used to meditate about it every time I want to pee. I wonder more and more often what the different railways look like in Berlin, Copenhagen, London, Stockholm. Lately, the more I thought about it, the clearer the idea became. It was time to discover new places, new trains, to meet new people, to export my name. It was very simple. I had two solutions, either to work 6 months to hope for saving money without being able to go so far, or to work hard for 2 weeks and go straight after. In that case, you quickly make up your mind. London was a town carrying a hard reputation, concerning paintings I mean. I'd heard a lot about it in the previous years, but the situation was described as shooting cameras everywhere with following races with cops. During the previous month, a mate who was used to moving there often for drum and bass party told me that he saw a painted metro every time he came. He had even met a bloke at a party who had explained to him pretty many things. He gave me the contact. Here's what did actually happen.
There were cameras everywhere, but this didn't disturb the local blokes. They sometimes cut at the wires of a camera, and sometimes didn't bother, cause they knew nobody was behind the screens to watch. They even painted in front of the camera, waiting for the last moments to run away. crew I'd met in London belonged to the English branch of a Scandinavian group called the Moras. They naturally gave me the contact after telling them about me. To meet people around there, you need to be introduced. I decided to take the first boat towards Denmark, more precisely Copenhagen, in order to meet the monsters of art, as they were called.
Arriving there, I directly understood what had been told was true. There was moles everywhere, along the railways, in stations, and on the trains. They did not betray their very active group reputation. Indeed, I was looked after as soon as I'd arrived. They picked me up at the station when I arrived. I introduced myself to them, quietly sitting on a bench of an S-train station, watching the weekly's group production. That evening, I discovered an organization that I'd never seen before.
Hey, yo, live from Copenhagen. 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 Suckers should start praying.
Their strategy was simple but efficient. In the beginning of the evening, many members of a group would check the situation in different yards of the town. Around midnight, they would come back and give a clear summary of a situation. The places to avoid were known. From these moments, they would divide themselves into 2 or 3 groups with one mission each. That was crazy. Tacks, throw-ups, panels, wall cars. Each yard was painted so that most of the pieces could drive on the railway in the morning after. The train company could choose to block the trains, but they could not block all the trains. Anyway, malls were too active. By day or night, the life was dedicated to graffiti. Nothing and nobody either could stop them. That is maybe why they wished to be called monsters. I left Copenhagen thinking that local writers were bloody lucky to live in a city that made the trains run round. That was one of the characteristics of Copenhagen. But for the moment, I went up to Scandinavia, towards Sweden, Stockholm more precisely. I arrived in known ground as I'd been there several times. Likewise, the friends I found there had often been to Paris. The WUFC, which means Writer United Fucking Crazy, were waiting for me at the station. After a few beers to celebrate a meeting again, we started working.
How that happened? Only time you saw heat is when you seen us go. Now everybody's rapping, it's making me sick. Being gay was a trend, you be sucking dick. Won't you? I can see in your eyes. Anybody looking for us, we're the closest. Or for break that we took, you know we got consigned, man. We're both live, man, and can't look out for this. Something happens and my throat start flowing. Prepare for a crib raid, cause everybody's going. There's no one survival when the gun starts blowing. Never personal is when my cream ain't showing. And we always on the block making sure things running. We love the money so dirty, you can smell it's coming. There's nothing you could do once I load up the clip. Don't make me catch you on the strip, got you saying how many niggas wanna ride with me? How many niggas wanna ride with me? Collide with me. Three accessories to homicide with me. That ass on one and on his concrete show. I'm the type to fuck them all, I'm just alive in the beat. You likely to speak to the D's, they're on the payroll. I'ma treat you like an L nigga and smoke.
Stockholm's strategy was radically different from what I'd seen before. The network was not too big. Vandal squads, the false security, happened everywhere, and it was rare to find a yard without control. To counterbalance that, the writer had found a technique of a back jump. In short, they would go to the end of the line, hide in a tunnel, and wait for the train. They are always from 4 to 7 minutes before a train starts its traffic. It was the time needed for potting 2 or 3 guys' name.
Welcome to the Peep Show. Are you familiar with this? Conference. That's what it is. What it is. 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 Yo, I'm unrippable like Nick's tickets. And if your girl's a little looser, you bet E-stick did it. I'll lace your crew better than Paragon can. Have you surfing the marathon, man? Making MCs use our fetus to clone us. Coming out looking like our Vetus Sabonis. My team's in the bonus, you foul too much. Playing on the wall with the scowls and such. Man, the owls are Dutch. I done all varieties. Cage, mind, ease, anti-society. Fingers blistering, still stickering under black moonlight with butane flickering. I'm with my girl, but yeah, I'm looking at yours. Done them all debutantes to crack whores. Bad rep with a stink like shit says. Y'all belong up in the pink like this.
That's right. Wet dreams of G13.
That's right. Money shots and porno blocks. That's right.
Politicians and limousine sniffers.
That's right. Double D's, trap the baby T. That's right.
Wet dreams of G13.
That's right. Money shots and porno blocks. That's right.
Politicians and limousine sniffers.
That's right. Double D's, trap the baby T.
Ducks came through, we laid them out. While you fucks our sex spit from Cage's mouth. When I run the vagrant route, you spacing out. With no family to react when your brains is out. And when I take this out, you know the drill. This mic is sin. And Papa's Nancy after I stab. On stage, you wanna go on after? Show you the art of war and finish the crowd with the first chapter. Come and walk through this little doorway. Enter the minded cage and the horse will shit you out on Broadway. The flies don't eat it, then feed it to the wallets. Pedals spot like anabolic, BMX hydraulic. Alex Frolics, hanging upside down, ordained till my rhyme engine bleeds through my face in war pain. So if you see me with a little pop jingle, shoot me in the back of the head and feed me to my starving bread.
That's right. Red dreams and G13. That's right.
Money shots and porno blocks.
That's right. Politicians and limousine sniffers.
That's right. Double D's trapped in baby T.
That's
So is, you think? Of course.
That's right. Money shots and porno blocks. That's right. Politicians and limousine sniff. That's right. Double D's trapped in baby T's. Cage kennels, back to the state when the panel put you in the mental. Locked down with 3 channels. EC Network, the weather station, my favorites. Cut your back out, sell it to Averex. Kiss this dope bitch with AIDS and I call her cold sore. Looking for sex in the city and I shit on these parole whores. Kick mud off my boots to shake the story loose. Acting big-headed when I smoke with Beetlejuice.
Kids wanna fuck with the peddlers, I can't wait. As straight Diallo's widow, dating a Jake. You spit some shit, I'll return the sentiment. And spit in your face, cause you're not in your element. Born to slay them fake mega monsters who couldn't even rhyme if they had teleprompters. Yo, these fucked up, you probably right. I wipe my ass and shove it in your face like Bobby
That's
White.
right. Wet dreams, the G13. That's right.
Money shots and porno plots.
That's right. Politicians and limousine sniff. That's right.
Double D is trapped in baby T.
That's right. Wet dreams, the G13. That's right.
Money shots and porno.
But you're never sure of anything in Stockholm, and you'd better be prepared to every option. When the train does not run earlier than expected, one unexpected train appears at the same time. All in all, Stockholm was a town full of surprises, and that made it charming. It was as exciting to go painting as to drink beers and then to go for a mess in the subway. I was thinking about Copenhagen and its idle network. I thought I would have to come through it again to carry on with Germany, so I called some friends in Paris and asked them to meet there 2 days after. The guy had been driving for about 24 hours from Paris. We were there. The team was complete, plus a bonus guest, a friend from Berlin, Rust, from the DRM, who benefited from our lorry while traveling to Hamburg. We went out to paint the same evening. We stayed for more than a week and it was showtime. Helped by some tricks of a mouse, we did world cars every evening. In the morning, in the central station, galleries of painting would run in the eyes of everyone. We even found it hard to take pictures of all the trains. We had to split the group to manage to shoot all the trains in different stations.
was leaving Copenhagen wrecked. Next stop was Germany. Hamburg was, let's say, a gate to go or come back to Scandinavia. Had time to rest a bit. I finally arrived on time at the meeting with the DMA guys.
Hamburg was a good start for Germany. Its atmosphere was quite strange. The town had its arbor and would get all the clichés that one could imagine. To pick up but one example, it had to do with a freak's place, junks, whores, and there was this German style, very organized, very straight. Germany suddenly appeared less strict to me than in history books. My mates went back to Paris and I found myself alone again, right in the middle of Europe. I was really starting to enjoy the situation. I stayed some more days in Hamburg waiting for the good moment to make one man on a subway. It came up on the last evening. Bad luck, in the morning the train had disappeared. No picture, only the memory of that night was left to me. and was to be well kept in my mind. I left Hamburg for Berlin. I had to meet up with Rust. I arrived the morning after. Berlin was a town full of history. When you find yourself in front of the ruins of a world, you understand more easily why graffiti grew so much after its fall. A whole population forgotten behind a wall for years, a culture imposed by the policy of that time. Many reasons that makes us realize the overwhelming emergence of cultures when you're in East Berlin. So I met up with Ross and his partner Micro. The DRM was complete. Berlin offered us many lays-up, yards and other studios, S-trains and mixed metros. In a town that never seen as many possibilities as many places where the railways company kept the trains. When a yard did not work, because of security or cleanness, we would go 2 stations further and paint. At the end of the day, I started thinking that Berlin writers kept tight system of propaganda of a past policy in the mind, and that they reused them in another context. The stubbornness to write the names everywhere in the most uncommon places was clearly symbolizing the catch up of the population during the 10 past years. This is the city where you run the most, because all the plans were timed. All the yards that we did, all the tunnel by which we went out were controlled. After finishing our pieces and taking the pictures, we had to get our stuff and run before the police arrived, warned by the station head chief or the alarms on the hatches. We sometimes did 2 or 3 places in a night. The DRM had got the keys to enter everywhere.
For the creatures of the night. No tears. No tears for the creatures of the night. No tears. My eyes are dry. Goodbye. Dry. Goodbye.
to sterilize. We had 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 to sterilize the population. We had to sterilize the population.
The problem here was that the subway was rarely running. In fact, you needed to get up early to see a train and make a one-way, and it would never come back anymore. As I was talking about that to Rust, he told me there were places in Germany where trains ran, and sometimes for a longer time than in Copenhagen. He told me about his travel to München. They had planned to get there some days later to meet up with a Berlin friend who had been living there for a while. He praised their way of life, so I decided to follow him. He told me his mates were pretty mad and that there would be perhaps nice things to shoot for a movie. Actually, I was about to meet crazy people. München was the ideal town. I arrived there with no money in my pockets. It didn't matter. The guys I met there, the PBS and MRN, quickly taught me that everything was free there. Food, sprays, picture films, mini DVDs. I tell you what, theft has never been a goal to me. It is useless to steal when you have the money to buy things. Yet, when you're in need, the only way left by society is theft. It becomes a duty. In München, there were no cops in the shop, no beepers. You are received as a customer, and as you know it, the customer is king. We would get out of the shop with coats full of things and stuff, and the cashier would say goodbye with a smile. It was quite funny. So I resold some Gore-Tex I had stolen there in order to buy a train tickets to Paris. My trip was ending, I was bashed. I had lost 8 kilos, I had skin disease due to bad hygiene during the last months, but I came back. My head was full of unforgettable experiences. The story could not appear, but it would mean to give up the unending resources for my crew. Their will to always look further for new playgrounds. After watching the tapes I had bought for my trip, we all decided that the next destination would be New York, where everything started. The aim was not to return to the source as nice European well Americanized. I didn't want to understand how and why graffiti was born there, but my goal was simply to do something really big and finish the trip with a unique experience. The idea to give back to Americans what they had exported 20 years earlier to Europe was quite fun.
Y'all know how we do on a Sunday night in New York. BX, Brooklyn, Harlem, QB, Staten Island, Jersey, Philly, LT, PG, yeah, if you know.
See me on the block with the chromed out drop, lambskin head to toe, busting out my halter top, tight whipping through the hood, blow up the whole spot with the system. TV, 4 murking the scene on a quest for lime green, steady puffing on brown, just for the time being. Battle raps on cock, I get all up in your anus, trying to get a record deal, battling somebody's face. Pounds to my girls as we slide up in the dance, bump niggas in my grill like they really got a chance. Chicken heads trying to front like they not digger fans. Fuck. Shitting on them C's, what I do for a living. Tight taking over spots like my name with givers. Anybody got a beef, then they better keep it hitting. Retailers put your bid in for the hottest chicks spitting. This for my niggas and bitches making moves in the day and blood cool. By night you break moves, they flood it, whip it, smoke it, trick it, flood it, whip it, smoke it, trick it. This for my niggas and bitches making moves in the day and blood cool. By night you break moves, they flood it up, whip it up, whip it up, smoke it up.
Once there, we proceeded it simply. Out of the 3 weeks we stayed in New York, we spent 10 days to visit the city and look for spots. Big yards at night and at the weekends, lays up for week during daytimes. Then we spent the last week painting the spots we had founded.
For all you niggas that's dead. Yeah, the ones that ain't breathing no more. And you know what you fell to? Dead man tell no tales to nobody. Gun smoking, jogging off after committing a hunt. Zip that man in the black bag for his earthly shit. Had to get dealt with pistol play cause his gun he used it. Tendency to play men out of pocket like they was suckers. Last expression on his face showed the jump some motherfucker. Looked like he wanted to say sorry before he got hit in his head. Yeah, he was wild, but he's dead. Now the cops pass by and ask few questions to nobody. But you know the pattern, investigation's over as soon as they remove the body. This time the man behind the trigger and the murder's well known. Can't say a young boy died cause he thought he was grown. So why is this bitch crying? He didn't rock the scene. sleep. By some he was loved, but to most he was a creep. Everybody know who did it, ain't nobody saying nothing.
It ain't too many smoking dope no more, cause it ain't the shit to be in a fiend. Not only is these streets watching, these motherfuckers is mean. You enter the projects in every state wherever criminals meet. Here there ain't no coming back when they cover you with that white sheet. The reason we die for ain't worth neither the reason we live. Can't keep a straight face knowing the flaw's about to give. So drugs where these people live, the mind state. From large to small niggas, everybody swearing they ain't. Funny vibes when certain niggas appear, some anticipate. Everybody knows it's bound to happen, but nobody knows the date. I'm the man who can get past go. You know what they sell us. Walking around wide asleep, no need to provoke the jealous. Street signs with ghetto fame on it, where businessmen put their claim on it. Order some bullets with your name on it. Shots fired, man down, caught up in the lifestyle he's followed. No need to even try and count how many niggas these corners swallow.
Some say it's soft to be friendly and smile a lot. Some took kindness for weakness and got they shit right. This narration is about those steppers focused on mud. But them broke niggas be begging you to bust your gun. Chastise you, still in your eyes. You used to be friends. Even a man behind the barrel or on the receiving end. More thorough than most. He was known for running around with the toast. It's been
CF Digital plus critical. Goddess get heard on the diamond stylist. Foreign elements control the sound clash. Co-flow response to the crime's mindless.
The Nights illustrator, surveyor, terrorizer. Hit in the end burners plus multiple insiders. Sub-level provider, simple verbalizer. The most humble student sniper, destroy the amplifier. The sentinel who protect the portal dimensional hologram. Cover all chapters of B-boy visual. Take it back to 2 a.m. feeling 3D outlines of park a year later. Draw ready to sit off the block and sip a spark. Tomorrow change the culture, rip the whole movement apart. From its origins beginning with gave the 4 elements to start. What remains the crew trying to rebuild the fame to the local squad, trying to bring the fame back to their building. I'm in the final 3 years consecutive for South Philly. Cooper analyzer the weapon, Mr. Fire. Who wanna come test the king benevolent who turn state of the art into nothing or irrelevant? Who the world reminded of vapors harvest. It's known to see through these brick walls and gently close your eyelids. You feel the depth conception. I annihilate kids with text and titty twisted nookie, the purple nurple. Rate the land speeds like a dip out, leave a crop circle. Mr. Sluggo, top notch competitor, behavior invader. Crush competition like an overturned blazer. My greatest work ever, overthrow the stock exchange with lasers. Escape flying through the number 4 tunnel below the radar. The grand concourse mixture of flavor, brushy elixir. School face competition with goofy cola mixture. I'm way above, shine on fools like a street lamp fixture.
Super duty, tough work. All vision lost, vomit. B-boys hold down a function. Rock steadily for more than just dope.
Stardate 2434.2.
Yo, it wasn't even like that. I wanted my cardiovascular to fight back. Cupid had me running circles, blindfolded in the daytime with a flashlight, looking for her. Yo, sit back, relax, and smell the roses. A fly girl by any other name must still be that. But the trick is to see that. I'm caught in between futures, fantasies, and memories I play back. Told my man I started sword fighting, cause fencing was similar to tongue kissing. If you wait too long, you're gonna end up confessing. All I think about is you undressing. I extended my thoughts in a relationship, but they sunk with the Titanic relationship. She was in a love triangle, but it wasn't like my feelings weren't there to make it a square. Pennies for her thoughts. She's my very own American beauty. Red petals when we talk, the F word.
came back from New York with a lot of energy to give away. This trip has been very motivating. Unfortunately, we're not expected with the same enthusiasm in Paris. We were in 2001, around a year before, with no one aware of it or hearing about it. A Vandal squad had been created and was working on an inquest, targeting the hard bases of writers and train. Their goal, to make the center explode and put an end to our activities. The Vandal squad came to take me one morning at 6 a.m. The state cannot stand not to control all its citizens. They cannot bear that men can be able to decide about their own actions. We had in our mind a legitimate aspiration to autonomy and awareness, and with some distance, have wondered if we did not represent for the state a kind of threat or disease, which needed to be cured. Today, I am still waiting for my trial, just as about hundreds of people in the same case. I don't regret anything, and I'm not trying to intellectualize my actions. Some things don't need to be explained. If these acts are a disease for the state, the authorities should know that once they are cured, nobody is safe from falling back again.
Don't need a reason to do the things that I do. No need to impress you, just wanna undress you. I really love your shoes, you still kick kangaroos. And the way you comb your hair like it's 1982. I don't live to break the rules, I just wanna make you drool. Cause baby I come equipped with every kind of tool. Up midnight interlude, I'll lick your attitude until your face turns blue. Until your face turns blue. Sit back and watch us swim and trip. Drink juice through conduit, just for the hell of it. Turn your dry ice machine on, cause I like the smell of it. We don't make a special trip while we're here in the mix. Cause baby this is messy as it's ever gonna get. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's quick, sometimes it takes forever.